What's up, everybody? I know the routine, whether you're catching it live or you're catching it after it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button, whether you're catching it live or catching it after it's uploaded. Y'all see the topic, y'all see the title, y'all see the thumbnail, so you already know what we're about to be getting into today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready to go. Let's roll the intro as soon as I find it. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
All right, what's up? What's up? Welcome back, everybody. I know the routine Saturday show. We already always have Hood Conservative on, who's bringing the truth bombs, to make you uncomfortable, But that's what we're gonna be getting into today. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to where's it? Okay. Shout out to Courtney Williams, says good old CP time. Absolutely. CP standard time over here. You know what we do. LB Crypto in the building over there, constantly overrating me. I don't know how I feel about that. Saying it's the best show in the manosphere. I don't know how I feel about that one, man. Cut it out. But I do appreciate it. In fact, I appreciate your high aggrandizing of me, to where I'm double checking right now to see if you got a wrench. I remember I saw you on Instagram speaking highly of me when I wasn't even around, just speaking highly of me. But shout out to you. I do appreciate all your kind words. I do appreciate it. Shout out to everybody else in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to, we got the world is not enough in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Captain Cisco in the building, says the Hood Conservative. I am sitting in Hooters right now. Good vibes. I don't know what's going on at the Hooters and in my local city, but I like it. They made some changes a few months ago where apparently that they got the chicks wearing smaller booty shorts. It's like the amount of ass cheek that's hanging out versus the amount of ass that's covered up. It's like almost more ass hanging out than ass that's covered up. It's like, it's amazing. I thought I was at a strip club.
It's inflation. I believe like the weaker the dollar, the more skin you got to show.
You might be onto something. But the uncovered ass to covered ass ratio is like the uncovered ass is winning. It's like that little bit, the little undercup you normally can see. That's like a whole like whole ass out. Like I don't know, they changed their uniform requirements. They got them in some little bitty shorts. But shout out to who we got in here. True Pro Blackness is locking up all the super gremlins in the community. You got a point there. I can't say you don't got a point there. We also got the Standard RLC in the building. The Standard RLC in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Ephraim McKenzie, LB Crypto, Ephraim Mackworth. That's what I meant to say. I thought that was somebody else named Ephraim McKenzie to be in the building. Shout out to everybody. So, all right, shout out to everybody. We got 50 people in here. Make sure you hit the like button as we get things going. I probably missed a few people in the shots out. General Isamo Washington. Shout out to you, Trinity Cooks, Cucks, or whatever that is. I'm on a little laptop. You can see I'm not in my studio. I'm on the laptop, so I'm gonna be squinting my eyes even more. So yeah. But we're gonna get into this. Got a good topic going on today. I can catch you off guard before we get all the way into the topic. My yesterday's show, I remember you dropped a comment, said you wish you could have hopped in on that one. It was the topic of well, the title was "Why Do Black Men Start Podcasts Instead of Going to Therapy," or something like that. And then we started reviewing the therapist chick that I guess went viral a little bit. Sort of talking junk about black men while trying to help black men. And so you said you wanted to get in on that conversation, but you weren't able to. But what is your thoughts on that? What did you say? What you got
Well,
to say
no,
on
I would have had to do like a follow up on it because I covered that. See what you covered? You caught her when she did her apology, right?
that?
And so before she put out the apology, like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, black men," blah, and it was a fake apology at that.
Mm-hmm.
But I covered her TikTok leading up to that. So when she first made the obnoxious video and all the things that she was saying, black men need to get therapy and all that, then she ended it off with smacking her ass and saying a bunch of bitches. Like I had to go in on that whole thing, and then she comes back with the apology video, and that's when you did your show on it. And I was like, "Oh, bro, this is too good. I really wish I could," because I was running around. I had stuff going on, but
Yeah.
that apology was amazing. Like that apology video was amazing, and it was like it's obvious who really needs therapy. If we're really going to have the conversation, I think it's more than obvious who actually needs a trained like medical professional to examine your thoughts here. Because one of the things I pointed out about the woman is it's a little cringe, but it's one of the things that I kept coming back to when I covered it. I think she's suffering from having too many. She's been with too many men.
Uh-oh.
There's this phenomena that I was talking about on my panel, on my show, where basically pimps have sort of discovered this about women. If you put a woman into that life, after a while, there's a certain magic number of men that she's going to be with that essentially breaks her mentally. Like she will no longer be useful for any kind of, not even for hoeing. Like she'll just be mentally broken. And as she was going through like her little videos, I was just going through a bunch of videos she posted, and I'm watching her physical display, like the way she acts on camera, and comparing that to like how she talks about men. And she's clearly talking about men that she was dealing with. Like she's clearly projecting a lot of her own emotional baggage onto the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And it just occurred to me after a while, like you've been with a bunch of dudes and you probably got like alpha widowed a couple of times. So basically you got dumped by the good dick and you've never been able to bounce back from that. And now you're trying to convince all of us men that we need therapy because the good dick don't want you no more. Like the whole thing is crazy when you start looking at it through like a slightly different lens. But like, yeah, it's totally that. You've been with too many men and now you're broken, telling us we need therapy.
Wow. No, that good analysis. Good answer. Feeling like we on Family Feud. But no, definitely. Yeah, we picked that up as she kept going on. We realized she was she was venting about her personal problems. You could kind of tell. You could kind of tell. But all right, no, good stuff on that one. So let's go ahead and get into this topic, the future of pro blackness in the face of all the forces pulling it apart, ripping at the seams. Obviously, SYSBM. There's the passport movement. There's the divestors. I put that in quotation marks because I've seen one. I've seen one with actual. I'm not talking about just one black woman with the white man. I've seen one chick with actual divester rhetoric, and y'all know what divester rhetoric is. All right, just full blown, shitting on black men rhetoric, actually in a picture and or video. So it popped up on either my Instagram or my YouTube timeline. I've seen one with actual receipt. Passport Bros, that's why it's being, they're showing receipts all the time. I've seen one with actual receipt of a white man with her. So, that's why I say divestors in air quotes. They're aspiring divestors, aspiring swirlers. And I even make a distinction between the swirling movement. The swirlers were something different. Divestors, they own some other shit. They like the uncut the uncut version of what Crystal cares was image of black women. But these chicks just do them divester chicks. They just be beating their chest, grabbing nuts, be talking, be sounding like they got food in their cheeks, be sounding like they got diabetes in their neck. Like it's all bad. But so that's why I say divestors when I'm talking about them. But anyway, either way it go, black women supposedly dating out. That's why it's being the passports. Then the L Gibbets, as they've been called around here, the LGBTQ community, and I would even say by extension, just the American melting pot of it all. We talk about how white people, and he just disappeared on me, and he's back, and he don't have an avatar, but we'll work through it. So we talk about the how white people, in what 20 years won't even be there'll be a minority in this country. This country is going to be so racially mixed. Even people who don't have some type of ideological stance when it comes to all of this, they're still going to end up dating out, marrying out, and having racially ambiguous looking kids and the whole works. So that factor in the equation, I would say just the normal natural progression of humanity in a global society, or in particular a country that's basically a global country. That's probably a botched way to word it, but I think you understand what I'm saying. It's, look at it. Just look at the demographics in America. It's almost like pro blackness is just going to be it's going to be dead on arrival. It's going to be dead. If it's not already dead on arrival, the whole idea of pro blackness. So that's the general premise of it. So we're talking about the future of pro blackness. So that was the premise that was laid out by you. And man, you are excellent at coming up with topics, man. But so you laid that out. Those are my initial thoughts on it. And so I'll pass it to you. I'll pass it to you to go ahead and further set it up. I just wanted to get my 2 cents on it before I throw it to you to really lay it out. So go ahead, you got it.
Well, you got a great handle on the idea. Obviously, we're in line with what's going on. I believe, as far as observationally, anyway, we see the same things. And I don't know. I was tempted to actually reframe this whole conversation: are women killing pro-blackness? But I think it's a little bit bigger than that. Even if, to be fair, it's bigger than just the women. Because, like, when you look at all these social movements, because these are social movements, the divestors, the swirlers, the SYSBM, without comparing them too closely, simply put, these are social movements. And so I don't know that this baseline social movement that is pro-blackness is really built to stand up against what's coming. This is like an onslaught of several social movements that combine for like the perfect social storm. So if the divestors, and look, don't let's not make it the divestors because they're actually like an extreme end of things.
True.
When your average black woman is just averse to having a stable relationship with her average black man, that's the end of pro blackness, no matter what you say.
Woo. Yeah.
And so once we kind of accept that reality, that I was having this conversation with a relative of mine, like women just don't want to get married for all they say about men, being irresponsible and men just want to have sex and all that, which half true, but just the same, none of that means anything if the women ultimately don't want to be married to anyone. So
Yeah.
what does it matter if you want to pump and dump forever if the women have it in their minds that marriage is slavery?
Well, and I just recently had this conversation with somebody about whether or not women actually want to get married. I argued in a real two-sided way. I said they do want to get married. Just it's just a matter of when and to who. So in a real sense, they really don't. But if they're talking about they want to get married, but it's much later in life, and it's and I mean, look, we know the data. You give a woman 20 years of adulthood, chances are she's gonna have some children. You get 20 years of adulthood and a lot of fucking, she's gonna have some children. So it's like she's showing up late 30s, mid to late 30s with children, saying, I was ready to get married now. So it's like
Respectfully, I disagree with that synopsis. I don't even think that's marriage. Look, we have to be careful about the redefinition of terms because, for whatever reason, there are a lot of forces at play that seek to redefine commonly understood terms, right? So,
okay.
what women want on a practical level, they're calling it marriage, but really what they want is companionship later in life. That's not
Mm,
marriage per se. They want companionship as they become old maids. Like the original term for women who didn't marry when they were supposed to was an old maid. Like basically, if you made it past 25 and you weren't married, people started calling you an old maid. And what women want is to choose old maidenhood and then have a man, help them through their old maidenhood. But I don't consider that marriage because children are not supposed to be born of those relationships. Most of the time, they're coming into those relationships with children in tow. So
yeah, that's what I
I
said. Yeah.
resent, and I reject this. Just randomly changing the definition of words to make women feel better. Like, no, they're not after marriage. They want to do to pay for shit.
Well said. Well said. Well said. So going back to what you said before what you were saying before I interjected, you were talking about if people aren't getting married, there's really no such thing as if people aren't getting together, starting normal, sensible families, and we're talking about the regular folks. We could pull out some data how people of a certain level of affluence, affluent people can get that they tend to get married. They're thinking about legacy. They're thinking about what they're passing down to their children, the bloodline, and keeping the wealth in the family and all of that. Okay, so people of a certain economic status get married, but there's really no pro-blackness on the ground if regular common folks are not getting together and building actual nuclear black families. So that's one major factor going against pro-blackness. Did you want to speak further on that before we I guess get into the other different types of factions that are pulling it apart, so to speak?
Well, I would just sort of reiterate something I mentioned last Saturday. The idea that only black men are called to sacrifice for the so-called community, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
you hear like these different leaders or whatever you want to call them, they get up and try to herd the cats. Basically, they're herding cats back into the plantation because the men are like, nah, screw that. But it's essentially what's going on is they're trying to get men back on board. But they don't want to offer the men anything because they really can't offer the men anything. Once the women have been sort of freed from patriarchy and all that, you got nothing to offer the men as to why they really should sacrifice themselves for this thing. And so it becomes this almost an emotional appeal where it's like, don't you want Wakanda? Don't you want your children to be like Black Panther? And so you try to sell it to men in that sense, but no one ever approaches the women like that. Like, no one will ever say to the women, don't you want to sacrifice your vagina for the community?
Yeah.
That's never how they talk to the women. And so again, this whole deal, it seems like it's something that's being used to keep men in a certain position while the women can just go off and do whatever they want. They have no allegiance to anything considered pro-black. And not only that, as
Well,
far as
hold
the
on, wait,
women,
time out. Let me give the devil's advocate pushback, because this is getting into a conversation with somebody who we keep referencing. I made a similar argument to Mr. Let Go. So it's like, so the argument was that he replied with, so you saying that men should try to, measure arms or do what women do, or if women can do it, then I should be able to do it, So that, like, is that your argument? Shouldn't men be different and above the, well, if they could do it, I want to be able to do it. Shouldn't men be above that?
I'm not the one who made women equal. Don't put that on me. If you want to operate, because see, a lot of what I noticed is because of we believe in a lie. And when you operate on a lie, it creates basically what people would call insanity, like mental instability. When you, like, say, if you believe that, if you believed you could fly, what behaviors would you exhibit because you think you could fly? It's like that, right? So once you believe something silly, you're going to start doing silly stuff based on that silly belief. Men and women cannot be equals. And this is based on the idea that men and women are equal. So what I'm saying is, if you believe men and women are equals and we both got a 50-50 share in this, how come only one part is being held responsible? Like, everywhere in the world you go, men and women are said to be equals, but only when it comes to these black conversations about, pro blackness in the community, you abandon all that equality talk and say, well, the men just got to suck it up and get it done.
Yeah, it's the only time that men are basically are put above women when they have those type of conversations is when they want to try to get the man to do something strictly in benefit of the woman. If it's something in benefit of the man, then it's, oh no, hold on, need to be full equality across the board. But if it comes to the man basically taking a bad deal, then it's, oh, be a man, you're above her, she's just a little old woman, they're children. They will go full misogynist and call women children in order to
Yeah.
get you to do some shit.
And like, listen, I'm with that. Yes, let's go full misogynist. I'm okay with that. I want to see where this train finally crashes. You know what I mean?
But no,
So like,
they're gonna hop off that train right before it crashed, and then
right.
but they're not going to stick to it, because if they wanted to stick with that misogyny, and I hate that I didn't ask them that question. Okay, so if you're saying that they're children, okay, cool, all right, cool. Do you think they should have a right to vote? Well, of course they should have a right to vote. Do you think that they should be executives in major corporations? Would you let a child run a major corporation? No, I wouldn't let a child run a major corporation. Okay, a woman is a child, according to you, so she shouldn't be able to hold any executive positions, especially over men who are adults, right? Right. And then that's when
Right.
they hop off that train. so
And
no,
see, I make it even worse because when I listen to, like, especially you say this to women and get kicked off the panel immediately. Like, I know I've tested this. So when women start laying out the list of things they want men to do and the list of things that they expect from men, my immediate position is, all right, well, if you want me to do all these things, so no problem, I got you. I just need you to acknowledge I am the superior party. Simple as that. Acknowledge that I am superior because you're not doing none of this. You're not expected to do half of what you expect me to do. So by examining the workload, I need you to acknowledge I am, in fact, the superior party.
yeah. No, facts. Absolutely. So there's that aspect of it. A lot of the women don't want pro blackness. I mean, well, they don't want the ramifications of it if it really came down to it. I remember this wasn't the last show, or maybe it was the show before last we did. I can't remember. Maybe in the last one. In fact, it was. SKC said something along the lines of, on one hand, if you listen to the women, what the women are saying, and more specifically what they're doing, it's like they're clearly telling you that they don't want this. But on the other side, it's the men saying, no, we do want this. We really do want this. Which I got some my objections to that. And, it was, he was, I'm not even going to get into that part of it. But, well, look at it like this. This is a part of it I do want to get into relating to what he said. It's not necessarily that the women are overtly saying that they don't want pro-blackness or black love. Hell, there's a black love YouTube channel where black women are there talking about what they want and what they need, and they have little panels or little group discussions with the men talking about what they want and what they need, and then they bring the couples together and they have group discussions about it, and they talking about it and working out, and it's all it's all fine and dandy and even cute. It's kind of cute when you watch it. However, the amount of capitulation that you see in pandering or just acquiescing by the men. So it's almost like, I know we're talking about pro-blackness, not black love, but it's like, they do. This goes back to what I said, where you probably reject the premise on it, but it's like they do want a realm of black love and black togetherness, but on their terms. So it's like they want it under certain terms and conditions. And I think one difference is that it's happened with the manosphere. The manosphere is the first place where men were talking about it and how it would look and how it would play out and what we would want on our terms, under our terms and conditions, and what type of deals we would accept. And then that's where things go awry. But in a weird way, they do want it. They just want you to be a man and be they bitch all at the same time. It's like a weird thing that they actually want when you really hear them laying out what it is that they want.
One of the reasons why I stand on misogyny is because I listen to women talk. I actually do. I care enough to listen to your words. Mm-hmm. And your words are essentially weaponized against what I want. Like what women want, if you listen to them talk and how they describe like their happiness or whatever, what would make them happy, which I don't even believe it would make them happy, but that's a whole nother thing. Mm. When you hear women describe what they're after, it almost always requires me tucking my tail and bending the knee. Mm. And I don't know if that's a viable pro-blackness. Like, that's why I question if it's even pro-black. Like, how is it pro-black to want exactly what the slave master wanted? Like, the slave master, he wanted black folk to get together under his rules. He wanted black folk to get together the way he approved of. And the only difference is now she's the one setting the terms, but it's not exactly something that we come together on. It's still restricted based on somebody else's like authority. It's not something that people negotiate, amongst themselves. And so, like, essentially, and this is something that been floating around the manosphere for years now, but women have replaced the role of massa as the authority figure in black life, and what they want is very similar to what massa wanted.
Mm. All right, let's go. Let's look past that. All right, we talked about the women and what they want. We touched on the swirlers and divestors and all of that and everything. There's another element of it that when it comes to pro-blackness that's also that's also flying in the face of it. There's an element of blackness that's also flying in the face of pro-blackness, and you put this in the email. You said the LGBTQ RSTUV XYZ folks. So let's go down that rabbit hole, and that's been a while. Like I told you in the back, I told you on the air a few times. I don't want to talk about no gay shit, but it's been a while. It's been like 3-4 weeks before we had to talk about some gay shit on here. But so we're gonna talk about how the LGBTQ community flies in the face of pro-blackness. So go ahead on that one.
you started out the show by saying, like, how did I get the reputation of the dude that makes everybody uncomfortable? Like, this is how.
Yeah,
This is it
yeah,
right here. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't know how we get a full conversation of the pro-black movement without discussing the gay wing of the party. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, before like the 80s, this was unheard of, I imagine. Like, there were always gay people in the mix. So it's not like the gay people never existed, but they were never their own individual power block. And
Mm-hmm.
what's happened over the course of since, maybe the 80s, right? It's coming out of the revolutionary Black Panther movement. What's wound up happening is that basically, I think you can start with like feminists, right? A lot of the feminists of that day were basically lesbians. And so they introduced their, let's say, lesbian goals, right? Lesbian social goals as pro-black goals. So when women came out of the 80s and when women came out of the revolutionary movement, and it's like now the 1980s, and you start getting a lot of pro-black woman initiatives and groups popping up, a lot of that, quiet as kept, was spearheaded by gay women.
Mm.
And then under the umbrella of gay women having the floor and having their say, the definition of masculinity was now under attack because a gay woman's natural ally is a gay man. And the gay women and the gay men basically can ally against what people have called white heteronormative patriarchy, right? So it's
Okay.
gotten to the point because we've been following like the social goals of the gay crowd. We reached a point in the black community where the nuclear family is no longer associated with black people, with black men. So the idea that a black man wants to actually be in authority position over his family and his children, you're now acting like a white man. I think that's something that the gays introduced to the conversation for their own purposes.
Okay, so you think? Oh, I see. I didn't even think about it that way. You think it was gay people that brought into the conversation that you're acting like a white man or white supremacist if you think that you're supposed to be in some authority figure over your family. I never thought about that. That it was gay men that or gay people
Well,
that brought that into
yeah,
the conversation.
gay women initially, but the whole rainbow movement, the gay men, the gay women, they're all in it together
Hmm.
because that is the main social idea that stands against like the gay vision is the idea that, listen, this is everything about y'all is anti-family, and their response is basically, no, you're just acting white.
Yeah, see, it's a discussion going around between two black men, and they were talking about gender roles or whatever, and it was a weird discussion. The guy who was in favor of gender roles, I don't think he was exactly very articulate in explaining himself. And the other black guy, I probably covered this. He was basically saying, "Oh yeah, well no, the gender roles." He's basically in so many words. He was saying the gender roles are done because women are working and they're tired. They don't want to come home and cook and clean and do all of that stuff. They're tired. Aren't you tired when you get home from work? They're tired. And and then the guy was like, "Well, so what do you mean? There's no gender roles no more or whatever?" And then it's like, and he was like, "How are there no gender roles in your marriage?" And the guy responded. These are two straight men, and the guy responded said, because I'm not white." I mean, these two black men. He said, because I'm not white. He said, I'm not a white Christian. This is some white supremacy construct that you're talking about. And I was just like, like,
Thank you.
yeah, he he just brought that. He just threw that in out of nowhere. So I was thinking that came more or less that came from. uh I thought that was just a manifestation of this modern pro blackness that yields to black women. Like somebody pointed out in the chat, to be pro black is to be pro black woman. So I just thought that was just yielding to what a lot of women want, because a lot of them are saying that no, halfway to their credit, they're saying no, they're saying a part. Well, no, not to their credit, because I know. Never mind. They're saying this. They're saying they want it to be a partnership. Like they want to work and they want it to be a partnership. Well, okay, What kind of partnership is this? Is she working? So it's like in a weird way they're advocating for something that they also will turn around and criticize, basically some pseudo type of 50-50 relationship where they both putting in on it and everything because they don't want to give up working. But truth be told, I'll probably get into this when I break down that video and a few other videos, how they really just, they want to work and have their freedom and autonomy, but they still want to be in that partnership, but they want his work to basically take care of everything because he's the man. Remember, he's above her when it benefits her. So it sort of cycles back into that way. But for him to be truly above her in full gender roles and everything, to where she's falling in line and she's falling behind, anything that she's bringing into his kingdom for him to manage. When it gets into that, then they want to flip it around, and now the black man is being a white supremacist. It is an interesting development and concept that I never thought about from that perspective, that gay people are the ones who inception the pro-blacks with that idea. Because if some guy is bringing white supremacy into a relationship gender role discussion, that is a pro-black. But you're saying that pro-black got that from the LGBT community, LGBTQ community. They inceptioned him with that idea, and then now he's spreading that into the pro-blackness, and that's how gay people have got their ideology into pro-blackness. That's more or less what you're saying.
Bingo, spot on. This is idea inception. Exactly. I like how you use that term. That's exactly what's going on. Their goals, like as gay people, they have separate goals from, let's say, what two heterosexual people would want, right? So, like, even make it compare couples. Like, the goals of a gay couple are naturally divergent from the goals of a straight couple. If for no other reason than the straight couple is going to get pregnant sooner or later. And so there's just realities that come into play based on that physical reality between a man and a woman. But once it's, two men or two women, that physical reality is no longer at play. So they're going to want different things. And now they're going to have to figure out how to achieve these goals. And one of the ways to achieve the goals is to just, get people to change their thinking, essentially. That's really what's going on. We've just introduced a new way of thinking, the gay way of thinking.
The gay way.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was gonna have to drop a bomb sooner or later, but yeah, y'all thinking gay. I'm saying it. Y'all think gay.
Yeah, that's what should have happened in that video. I was talking about shit. You should have just skipped to the end and just called him gay when he was.
For real. That's how it feels, though. It's like, nah, bro, y'all just thinking like gays.
Oh man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all make sure you hit the like button. We got about 200 people in here. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. You had mentioned something in the back about D Wade. I quit keeping up with what's going on with him and his son, but it was some recent news about him doing something. You had mentioned that in the back and sort of related it to this conversation. So go ahead, I'll pass it to you on that.
Well, I actually posted a link if you ever want to get around to playing. I don't know because it may be copyright problems. Yeah, it's a link to something from Pink. It's a Twitter thing, but it's from Pink News, and it was like, I don't know, about maybe 3 minutes long, but just talking about how awesome Dwayne Wade is as he helps his son become his daughter. He's going to get Zaya Wade's name changed officially now. So whatever his masculine born name was, they're going to they're going to kill that person, like legally kill that person. That's why they call it dead naming. They're going to legally kill your son off and introduce a daughter to the world now. And in my mind, this is all a continuation of a simple concept. This is something that I think Trey was bringing up last night when a bunch of guys went over to Chez Chardays to sort of explain the SYSBM platform. So like Edward Anderson was up there and SKC, and I know Trey popped up at a certain point, and he had just made the simple argument that your children don't belong to you. As a man, your children do not belong to you in the community. And I think this Dwayne Wade is the most extreme example of that. Like, as a man, your children are not yours. Your sons are not yours. Your sons are so not yours that they can become your daughters and you can't say nothing. Matter of fact, you better support him becoming your daughter or you're a bad black man.
All right. Let's Let's get into this. Let's get into this. I'm already don't even want to play this shit. Just looking at the opening image here, but okay, let's go. Here we go.
We all know a trailblazer when we see one, and Zaya Wade is just that. But have you ever wondered what makes Zaya's journey so inspirational? Let's rewind and take a look back at why she is a force to be reckoned with. This is the Queer Catch Up. She may have celebrity parents, but Zaya Wade has made an impact all on her own. The daughter of basketball star Dwayne Wade and actor Gabrielle
Even
Union
his
came
suits
out
look
as
gay.
trans at 12 years old and is already inspiring others with her journey of self-discovery.
I think even through hard times, just you gotta just push through.
Let's first go back to February 2020, when Dwayne publicly revealed that Zaya is trans on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Came home and said, hey, so I want to talk to you guys. I want to be referenced as she and her. I would love for you guys to call me Zaya.
And Dwayne isn't the only supportive parent Zaya has going for her. Posting a video of Zaya and Wade, Gabrielle Union announced on Twitter, "Meet Zaya. She's compassionate, loving, whip smart, and we are so proud of her."
Now,
Soon
I want to
after,
stop
the
for a
internet
second.
was flooded with
I have to ask the question now. If this is acceptable blackness, right? Like this gender bending that you can just fully accept that your son is in fact your daughter, right? What does this actually mean in the face of like what how does this change what it means to be pro-black? That's really the question I want to ask around all this like rainbow stuff. Like you realize by introducing just the very nature of those lifestyles and all that, you're introducing something to the equation that fundamentally changes the equation. And so, like, without me even having all the answers, I don't know anything, right? I'm just a dude asking uncomfortable questions, right? But does this not change what it means to be pro-black going forward?
Um,
I mean, this is a black family, right? Look at this. This is a
that is a
couldn't
black
this be
family.
the future model of a happy black family? Now look at this. Look, and this is what's really killing me about it. And this is why I take such offense. The woman requires little to no change. Gabrielle Union is exactly what she was. She's older, but she's exactly what she was for all of her public life, right? Gabrielle Union isn't fundamentally a different woman, but the boys, the men, are fundamentally different men to the point of being women. You are fundamentally different up to the point of being a woman. And you're going to tell me that this does not change what it means to be pro-black? I beg to differ.
Well, what they would say is, "Oh, well, this ain't pro-black." You know, that's what some would say. But a lot of the people with their, fist in the air about blackness, who got they fist in the air about it. There's a lot of women that are fist in the air about that, and relating that to like Black Lives Matter, and like there's clearly an element definitely a wing of pro-blackness that swings hard in this direction because they swing very hard to the left. So if they're swinging that hard to the left, that's why you end up with. That's why I had to ask the tough question. Can you be pro-black and also pro-choice? And I did bring on some people that consider themselves pro-black, and to their credit, they said no, you would have to be pro-life if you're really talking about some pro-blackness. You have to be pro-life. But a lot of people who would call themselves pro-black are pro-choice and are pro-LGBTQ.
Let's push that. Let's push that just a little bit further because we can't. I can never let you just stop where you want to stop, man.
Go ahead, go keep going.
If you're gonna make the quote life argument, right? Because now we're literally talking about babies, right? Well, I would actually, and this is why you kind of get kicked out of certain circles when you express these real points of view. This is totally based in reality. It's not like an emotional tale or anything, but like that lifestyle does not produce life. But as a matter of scientific biological reality, the homosexual lifestyle does not produce life. So, in terms of black life, how is it that you're supporting something that by definition is essentially anti-life.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you 100% that if they're consistent, they can't support it. Now, somebody can just be like, hey, I'm just a fun-loving liberal, we are the world, we are the children, everybody join hands, form a love train or whatever that song says. That's kind of the jam. But but anyway, yeah, if you're that type of black person, then yeah, you could support this. But if you're a pro-black with the fist in the air, then you can't really you can't really get jiggy with this and be consistent. So yeah, so you are absolutely right on that one. You are absolutely right on that one. So Sir Tice in the building, the first contributor of today. And yes, like I said on the last show, I'm biting Angry Man. So swag, keeping up with the contributors down at the bottom. Appreciate everybody who support the stream. The goal on last show was 25 of them, and 39 of them came through. So y'all definitely supported hard and heavy. I do appreciate that. Y'all definitely be supporting the content heavy in this space. I noticed there's channels in other sectors that's not the Black Manosphere where they could have 2,000 people in there and you don't see as many people super chatting. So this whole thing about black men not supporting, I call bullshit on that. Black men definitely do support other black men. But Sir Tice in the building says, what do we have here? Because entertainer worship runs Black America. Yeah, I said it. We have puppeteer D Wade pushing rainbow propaganda. And sadly, outside of this space is working. He and Gabby, which literally are sick. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Do appreciate you coming on through on the super chat. And Sir Tice, do appreciate that. And more or less agree with what you said right there for the most part. Yeah, I absolutely agree with 100% with everything you said. Agree 100% with everything that you said. I gotta do a show on witches. On the history of somebody. I've heard people make the argument that the initial feminists, the women that were getting called witches originally, that were getting burned at the stake, they were actually the original feminists. I heard somebody make that argument. I got to get somebody who really want to deep dive and make that case. But Osworld123 in the building with the $20 super chat. I do greatly appreciate that. It's like you jumped in when I said witches. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, there was something I was covering months ago. It was this is actually a fun show, a fun series that we did called Community Mythology, and we sort of tried to get to the root of like a lot of certain black ideas. Like we started out talking about Yakub and all the the big-headed scientists or whatever, and one of the things that I discovered as I was researching, like doing a deep dive into like black culture and black history, is it's not old, like it's not, we haven't always been this way in America, but what's happening as black America leaves the church, we are essentially becoming a pagan cult. Like that's just something I don't know how to I don't know what to do with that. But like if you really think about the amount, just all right, we're leaving the church, and from a definitional standpoint, like all religions outside of Christianity is what we essentially call cults and all that, right? So from a definitional standpoint, it's like once we leave organized Christianity, we're slipping into cult territory. And then you combine that with the fact that a lot of women, they want to get in touch with the Yoruba spirits and the Ashanti spirits and whatever ancient African religion system that they can research. But basically, like I still kind of like I like how Edward said it last night on Chardays. I'm still like culturally Christian. I may not go to church every day, but my moral foundation is basically the old school traditional Christian moral foundation. And I'm watching like what the women are up to, and it's like, nah, y'all really witches. I don't know when we're gonna really have an open conversation about this, but there's a lot of just pagan cult behavior growing in the black community.
Yeah, it's women who currently are sitting Christians or claim to be Christians who will also do tarot cards. So It's all like so it's so much weird shit going on that I don't even know where to even begin with all of that. But D-Rock then said, well, you had said down at the bottom, you don't know why I didn't read the super chat because I missed it. It's odd, the chat move, and so it's easy to miss them. So I do not be missing y'all super chats on purpose. I don't got my administrator in here to catch everything and star everything for me. So I'm going to do my absolute best. But if I miss it, just remind me in the chat. Hopefully I see it. D-Rock Den in the building says his wife helped turn his son out by taking him to that rainbow parade. Evil botch, weak ass dad, shaking my head. Absolutely. 100%. Shout out to D-Rock Den. Do appreciate you coming on through on the super chat end. And shout out to where the hell is he? Hood Conservative just dropped down on us. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. Mike and Vince Perkins. Shout out to Mike and Vince Perkins. Well, first things first, I want y'all to go and subscribe to Hood Conservative. Make sure you go and subscribe to Hood Conservative, but also make sure you go in and check out Mike and Vince Perkins, MVP. Check them out. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to those brothers. RM, if you're still in the building, drop some links right there. Drop some links to Hood Conservative, and while you're at it, drop Mike and Vince Perkins link in the chat room. Mike was definitely, I gotta clip some of that. Mike was definitely dropping bombs on the last show. He said something epic about about the therapy and how he said men go to therapy so they can learn how to treat the people they love better, and women go to therapy so they could try to get the people who, you probably need to type this out, try to get the people that love that love them to treat them better or something. I forgot exactly how he worded it, but it was spot on. It was so
Yeah,
spot
that sounds
on.
great. That sounds exactly right.
It was spot on because you know when they leave up out of therapy, they want to leave out of there diagnosing everybody, calling this person's a narcissist and this person has this personality type and this is what you need to do because see, I've been to therapy and I know. So basically, yeah, they're going there to try to get, you know, to basically try to have a better command over what's going on around them, to try to get people to treat them better. But men actually go there like I want to be better for the people I love. They want the people that they love to be better for them. It was deep how he broke that down. So shout out to Mike. Yeah, definitely want to check that.
Well,
that
look at the therapist you guys were talking about yesterday when you were reviewing all her TikToks. She would consider herself pro-black. Matter of fact, she pretty much said as much if you listen to what she was talking about. She's trying to help the black man and all that fly shit. So if that's pro-black, let's have the conversation. What is it to be pro-black? If that's pro-black, I need a Webster's dictionary definition.
Yeah. It's time for an updated definition because she is by definition pro-black. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. Sir Tyson in the building says, Gabby Sorcery, look up Asculum Infame, then look up Gabby talking about pleasuring Wade's oh shit. No pun intended, pleasuring his Duke shoot, and I said, oh shit. Area sounds weird, but this is a practice.
That's what he said.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks, Sir Tice. Appreciate that. Osworld123. See, y'all already dropping in more than what I keep up with right now. Osworld123 in the busy says, been busy working hard, just saying hello. Absolutely, man. I do appreciate you coming on through. Been a long time supporter. Do appreciate you. And
let me put an idea
Jack
on
in the building. Shout out to Jackie Jack. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me put an idea on the floor because now we're kind of getting to the heart of the matter with that last super chat about what Gabrielle is into. As I see it, and you know, when I watch, like, I essentially watch gay couple, like not watch like I'm spying on people, but out in the world you see gay couples. I see a lot of gay women couples with sons. Think about this for a minute. I know personally at least two couples. I've probably known over my lifetime a handful more, but I've known personally two couples, or at least a gay woman with sons, right? And what I think is happening here, women fully understand that male homosexuality is a path to female dominance. Oh yeah. So, and especially from that whole hand that rocks the cradle sense of the idea, like I think women, without saying it, they probably, you know how it is. They'll never tell you the truth, up front. But I think they quietly acknowledge that if we encourage more and more homosexuality, you will run them in. Like, how could you not run them in? You're gonna
Or
have a
bare
bunch of soft
minimum,
gay men.
or bare minimum, effeminized men, if not full blown more gay men. If you can get the straight or straightish ones more effeminized, then yeah, that would ultimately accomplish that goal. That would ultimately accomplish that goal.
Well, what do you think is the goal of feminizing the straightish men? Like, without even just making raising someone to be gay or whatever, like conspiracy theory talk that is. Like, the idea that women would encourage men in general to be less masculine, right? That's a female power play. They're after dominance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, like, it just goes to it makes perfect sense that. All right, let me start over. It's not that it makes perfect sense. It just seems to me that the same women who consider themselves pro-black, they are actually on a mission to, subvert, if not outright cripple, the male influence.
Yeah. No, agreed. Let's get back into the tape. I'm busy trying to keep up with shit. All right. Oh, Nick Taylor in the building. Shout out to Nick Taylor. He says Gabby is the initiator, and Dwayne is allowing her to do this to his son. She's not his mother. I owe his ex-wife an apology. She tried to tell us. Yeah. We was definitely critical of and shout out to Nick Taylor. I talked to him on Uncle Stu's panel. I think that was me and his first time having a conversation. Very, very, very sharp brother right there. Very sharp brother. His ex did get a lot of criticism because it did appear that she was doing some a different form of fuckery with the kids. How she was supposed to be dropping them off, or they were supposed to be exchanging the kids at the airport. She not showing up the day he got an NBA Finals game to play, and she messing around and not dropping the kids off, and now he got to go play the game and don't know where his kids at. She not answering the phone, so she probably got her own form of fuckery that she was doing with, but it's not put your son in a dress fuckery. It's a different type of fuckery. But either way it go, either way it go, he was gonna catch it on all ends. Either way, apparently with the women he was with. But all right, let's roll the rest of this not so beautiful being footage. Thank you to everybody who's supported the stream thus far. Thank you, each and every one of you. All right, where's it at? Let's go.
Love and admiration for the famous family. In the Instagram video, Zaya spoke about her decision to go public with her transition, emphasizing the importance of authenticity.
Like, it's what's the point of being on this earth if you're going to try to be someone you're not? It's like you're not even living as yourself, which is like the dumbest concept to me.
She also shared advice to others who are afraid of being judged.
Be true and don't really care what, like, the stereotypical
I'm sorry.
way
I'm sorry. I just can we stop and just laugh at for a second? The idea of a person transitioning, having the nerve to talk about being your authentic self. Like, nigga, please.
I was just tripping on that wig. Like that wig don't look good on biologically born straight women. I mean, biologically born black women need not wear that wig. It's like you trying to be a woman, but you're being the worst type of woman.
Yeah. Look, that's what I was laughing at. Like, I didn't do a great job because, like, my signal was bad, but I was doing a stream about the studs of TikTok. Yo, bro, studs are hilarious, my dude. You got to really look at stud culture one day. Y'all chicks crack me up. No, I'm telling you, it's hilarious, though, because like you said, he's trying to be like the worst of women. Like, studs are trying to be like the worst of men. and they got a whole like swag about it. It's crazy, bro. Studs are something else, man. I love laughing at studs. It was a
Yeah.
Brittany Griner thing. Once Brittany Griner got in trouble, I've noticed like, yo, it's a lot of y'all chicks out here looking crazy lately.
Okay, now you got me talking about studs. You never see a stud try to emulate some corporate executive type of dude. they all
No,
they always emulate the worst kind of
always a
you
bum ass nigga. They only want to be bum ass niggas. Like, bro, that shit cracks me up. Like, how come y'all only know how to be bum ass niggas? Like, y'all get fly, don't get me wrong, but y'all copying like the bum ass nigga like lifestyle. Like, chill. I see what you up to. Y'all
yeah.
not trying to copy after like the upstanding brothers. Y'all want to be like the corny hood niggas.
Yeah. That's like the same thing with Jason Pope. He said, I mean, he gonna try to look and act black, but the worst type of black dude. I mean, you could have emulate Malcolm X or some shit. I want to see a white dude pull that one off. Just shake things up and try that. You know, do
No,
something else.
I want to see stud Malcolm X. I want to see a woman with glasses, with shaved sides and dreadlocks tied to the back, with a a full the black NOI suit up there giving a speech because we headed for this, and the stud is up there like giving a speech at the podium. We didn't land on patriarchy rock. Patriarchy rock landed on us. Like I'm telling you, I want to see. It's gonna happen, bro. I want to live to see this day.
God damn. Oh man, you about killed me with that one. You just about killed me with that one. All right.
Judged.
Be true and don't really care what like the stereotypical way of like being you is.
In March 2020, Zaya made her red carpet debut at the Truth Awards, serving an absolute look alongside her parents. Dwayne shared the moment on Instagram, writing, "Everyone allow her to reintroduce herself. Her name is Zaya Wade." Dwayne and Gabrielle's unconditional support for Zaya proves they are absolute parenting goals. The couple were even recognized on Time 100's list of most influential people, and although they are opening up an important conversation, they're the first to admit they're not perfect. On February 11th, 2020, Union tweeted, "We are humble LGBTQ+ allies with a lot to learn and grateful for all the support. We encourage you all to check us as needed." While the famous parents have been supportive allies, figuring out how best to parent a transgender child has been a learning curve, and Zaya is certainly educating them at every step.
So I was like, identity is not the same as sexuality, it's not the same as gender expression. I was like, okay.
Consider them schooled. Dwayne has also revealed how celebrity connections helped him and Gabrielle in their quest for understanding.
My wife reached out to everybody on the cast of Pose.
And the cast of Pose aren't the only celebrities to have supported Zaya. Superstar Cardi B defended her in an Instagram Live, saying,
"Let people find their happiness, especially kids. Let them feel comfortable doing what they want to be."
Zaya's impact has definitely been felt. In March last year, she sat down with the one and only Michelle Obama for a candid chat where they shared advice to young people.
I think that change, even though it's scary, is probably one of the most beneficial things in growth.
She is also killing the fashion game and proving that she is a true style icon. Fans all across the world are being taught a thing or two about the power of family support and living life as your true self.
Well, you almost at the end either way, but you want me to pause it?
No, I was just shouting out Big Mike. I didn't want to stop the flow. It's just, that's Big Mike.
Okay, cool. My bad. Well, that was it either way. So yeah, there's that.
Look, you having meetings with the first black first lady, right? She is she's at the pinnacle of the pro-black pyramid right now. Michelle Obama is essentially untouchable in blackness, right? So when do we get to have the conversation about what it means to be pro-black going forward from here? Like, somebody's got to start having the talk. I want to know what it means, because the way it's headed, I'm starting to be. Look, a lot of black men have been called white supremacists over the last couple of years. The black face of white supremacy. And if you guys are going to hold firm to the idea that patriarchy is you know, a white European thing, you give me no choice. I'm going to join the black face of white supremacy. I'm just going to be a black white supremacist and be proud of it because y'all niggas gay.
Oh man, the way you ended it, that was just too funny. I was sitting there thinking when he was meeting with the president. Oh wait, nope, she we gotta get it right. When she was meeting with the president, I was just sitting there thinking, okay, what if you know, he would have, you know, been born and, you know, lived out his life like a normal, like a real boy, and you know, was really exceptional. Like, let's just say at 14 he aced the ACT or the SAT test, you know. Let's just say something like that. I wonder would he, you know, been meeting with you know, royalty basically. You know, you see the point that I'm making here. It's like, yeah, okay, changing your gender and making a big announcement about it gets you a sit down with the first lady. I just wonder how exceptional of a feat would he have had to accomplish in order to get that equal sit down with Michelle Obama. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. That's what I'm trying to figure out. You're muted.
So like basically, what does a straight man have to do to get a meeting with the president?
Well, in this situation, a straight boy with famous parents. I wonder how exceptional would he have had to have been. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Just how exceptional. That's a.
Yeah, I can't really wrap my mind around it. That's a good point, actually. I don't even know, like, what special thing would you have? You would have to literally, how you said before, find the XY coordinates of white supremacy on the map, and then like assault the beachhead. Like maybe after you win that war, Obama will shake your hand. But if you happen to come out as trans and you fully transition, you know, Michelle Obama will twerk for you.
Well, no. He didn't fully transition. He didn't like Boosie said, don't cut his dick off, man. Don't cut his dick off. No, he ain't got nothing cut off. He haven't done that.
What's so funny? Honestly, I'm kind of the mind that if you're gonna play that game, I need you to go full scissors, bro. Cut it off. Because
if they really mean business,
right? Like, show me that you really mean what you say. Like, show me you really about this life. Like, listen, just whip out the scissors and I'll respect it more. It's hard for me to respect it at this level. It's like, bro, you could just say anything and I'm supposed to roll with it. Like, nah, bro, listen, I'm just gonna slide these scissors across the table and I'll wait for you to make your choice.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, all day. I do think the game changes when they actually get the surgery. That's a whole nother ball game. But just that's the funny thing about it, where you know making the announcement is the thing. That's it. You got to announce it. You got to announce it, and you know, perhaps dress a little zesty. But other than that, you've done it. You've done it right there, just with the announcement alone. That's it. But
it's weird. If he can identify as a woman, why can't I identify as a white man? And I mean that in all seriousness. Like, why is race the line that you can't cross, but gender is non-existent? When there's far more physical evidence for gender as a reality than race as a reality. Like, there is no race gene, but there is, you know, an XY chromosome. You feel me? So like, how come how come the imaginary doesn't want to do like I don't even know how to say this right. Like these imaginary rules are killing me. Like, how come I just can't identify as a white man? Like, just let me do it for one Sunday out of it, like in November. Just one Sunday in November. That's all I'm asking for.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to The World Is Not Enough, who's making the point that I've made on this show plenty of times, and I will continue to make that point. I am rooting for him to have his dad's height and athleticism, and I'm rooting for them. I'm fully in support of the movement. If they will let him in the WNBA with Dwayne Wade's genetics. I do want to see that. I'm all jokes aside. I seriously would like to see that. I want to see him out there dunking on them chicks. Seriously. So I am rooting for that. I do support the movement in that sense. Put him out there. Put him out
I think
there.
that's how you make the WNBA profitable. Honestly, like no shade. I think that's exactly what it would take to make the WNBA profitable. Because just for the spectacle alone, one, you got like some celebrities, athlete kids involved, so you're gonna have that little social cachet or whatever. And then two, just the raw spectacle. Like I want to see how good. Like, can you dunk on Brittany Griner? Like, we should bail Brittany out and let her play against like Joanna. We really got to get that popping.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But all right, putting a bow on it here. So there's aspects of the LGBTQ that has infiltrated or inception aspects of pro-blackness, because pro-black, well, some would argue other. Okay, they talk a big game. Okay, let me say this. Pro-blacks, they do a lot of, we about what's best and what's beneficial for black people and what policies will help us and blah 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 blah. But from the looks of things, it seemed like they just mindlessly vote Democrat. And to mindlessly vote Democrat and to mindlessly be liberal, yeah, you are in favor of, again, the LGBTQ, who are swinging hard liberal for a reason. They get their benefits out of that. So, and then there's the Rainbow Coalition melting pot of it all over there. So again, black people who are on their pro-blackness, they end up having to, not having to, but they just end up going along with, whatever the gay movement is. We saw that in a lot of the Black Lives Matter rallies. We saw the signs, Black Trans Lives Matters. They just merged all that together. Everything is all lumped in together. It's just one big pot. So in that sense, yes, and you are absolutely right in the way you laid it out, that aspects of the LGBTQ movement have merged into the pro-black movement, which again, that disrupts the future of pro-blackness. That's one end of it. Either a lot of the men are, going to end up full-blown gay, or bare minimum effeminized, and that's already happening. So pro-blackness with effeminized men, that's really not pro-blackness as far as how they would, originally define it. So that's one end of it. Then there's the melting pot end of it in this country, where a lot of people are going to be dating out and interracially mingling and mixing and all of that. Then there are people, when you come to a lot of these online movements, that are not just coincidentally dating out. No, they're ideologically dating out. The SYSPM, the Passport Bros, and the Swirlers, and the Divestors. So with all of that being said, let's put a final bow on this before we open it up. What's the future of pro-blackness? What's the future of it?
Well, this is something that I was having a conversation a week or two ago on, I think I was on Art and the Styles, and BGS was there, and we were on the panel for a long time, so a lot of stuff came up. But this exact topic did come up at a point, and one of the things that even BGS kind of had to concede to, like, in the future, POC will be the dominant, like, force, like, for the Democrats. So instead of like the Democrats being the home of the black people, it'll be essentially like the home of the people of color. And what that really means is pro-blackness as an ideology is dying. And going forward, it will be basically taking up a smaller and smaller, like, share of the political pie. And I think that's really the future of pro-blackness. One, to the extent that pro-blackness will survive in some way, shape, or fashion, it will be, this is something I forget where I was, and I said this for the first time out loud, but sometimes you're just thinking out loud as you're having these conversations. But in the future, the pro-blacks will basically be women in various assortment of gays. That's and I don't know how else to describe it, like, as politely as possible right there, but yeah, it's going to be women and gays.
If it'll be women in a various assortment of gays, then what and where will the black men be?
White supremacy. I don't know. They'll be in Brazil. I don't know. Like, the men will simply, like, I don't know if there will be a large block of men, like straight heterosexual men. I don't know that the pro-black movement will be a comfortable home for a large enough amount of straight black men. So what I think is going to happen is that the way we have see these what you call ideological dating movements. So men and women both have their own version of it, but I think as far as the men are concerned, they're going to move, they're going to vote with their feet, and that physical reality will alter their political reality. So think
Yeah.
about it like this, and this is something I really, I won't say struggle with, but this is something that's been burning in my personal life. Like, what is the value of all this pro-black stuff if you can't really have your family?
Right.
And once the men are able to actually find themselves outside of black America, and they're having families, and things are going well enough, it will sort of question what it means. It will just create like cognitive dissonance. Essentially, you will have to fundamentally question, what is the pro-black struggle to you? I mean, your wife is white or Latino. Your kids are loosely connected to black culture. They're only ostensibly connected to black culture because they're not pure white. But that doesn't mean that, that doesn't put you inside the community per se. And so it does create a political reality on the ground. Like, what does everything mean going forward? You just no longer have the same physical motivations that you would have had, say in the 70s and 60s. Like, the realities are very different. So it does change the dynamic fundamentally. Once you have a large enough population of men, and the women are going to have their own children, and they're going to have children with white men, and again, that same physical reality will be there. I think with women, they kind of have a firmer grip on what it means to be black. Like how we say to be pro-black is to be pro-black woman. So I think for the women of that movement, they'll try to hold on to this concept of pro-blackness to some degree, but their kids are going to have to live the reality of listen, my dad's white. Like, why the hell do I really hate white people like that? And it's going to create a physical reality on the ground that alters the politics. And I think going forward, I don't know what the politics can do to maintain itself in the face of these actual realities.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to step away for a quick second, but I caught most of what you said. But I do want to take it back to ultimately what will happen with black men. You said they won't find a home in this new type of pro-black, this new type of pro-blackness, and the new type of liberal democratic party type of thing. They won't find a home there. But what we're seeing right now is a lot of them not even realizing that they're already kind of just off to the side anyway. So I think it will be an element of that where some will just mindlessly drone their way in line with it and be in support of it and don't even know why they're in support of it, and without even thinking about it. And then the culture change, and a lot of things that's not normal right now will become normal in the future. And a lot of them will just go with it. I do think those who are more on the thinking side of it will be like, I can't really get jiggy with this shit. Because that's already happening right now. That's already happening right now. In small baby steps, but it's happening, So I do think it will end up like that. I do think they will ultimately start to realize that this doesn't align with me. But I would be impressed extremely impressed if in the next 20 years, if I would say, let's just to say, if things just go in that direction and get as bleak as we're talking, I would be impressed if in the next 20, 25 years, if half of black men were politically and ideologically separating and moving in a different direction. When I say separating and moving in a different direction, I'm not even talking
Yeah.
about, passport, SYSBM and all that. I'm about to bring Trey up in a little bit too. But I'm not even talking, I see you down there, Trey. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, was more realistic, or not even more realistic. What's more likely is just realizing that ain't it, and then going in this direction. What woman you end up with will that'll become that's a major factor. That's a major factor, and because, like you said, how can you have pro-blackness? You don't have black families, so it's really no such thing as pro-blackness in that case. If you don't have that, so you end up in that situation where yeah, it's a certain type of either a new faction of blackness or pro-black maleness will sprout up, and then some of the I call it the drone males may hop over to that and may realize, okay, this is more beneficial in the line with my views and my values. That's why I think it's important for men to be speaking up and voicing out their ideas, concerns, and their whole thought process online, because that's where a lot of these movements, these modern movements start. So
I don't think the black male contingent can one, it's going to be like a physical impossibility to be like to isolate yourself, because you're talking about like, if you're talking about like the SYSBN passport bros, like the purpose of that is to place yourself in another circle anyway, and that means you have to be a man in that circle. And it's, people say that with a negative connotation, like you're gonna operate in another man's patriarchy and all that. I don't really hold that negative. Yeah, I don't hold that negative view of it, but I think it is what it is. Like, as a man, you're going to have to be a man with those men. Now, the trick, though, I think what's really going to happen, and this is what I think a lot of the problem, like a lot of the negative response that guys are getting, is basically like this. Black men will find themselves with more and more non-black male allies. And that will be the shape of the block going forward. It won't be like a black male block. It will just be a broadly male block. And that will include men of different races and ethnicities. And I think that's ultimately the biggest threat to the pro-black movement. The idea that it's not safe for you outside of Black America. The crying guy, remember the crying guy? He's like, I want you to know it's not safe. Like, that is something that's really held over black men's heads. And I believe that the result of embracing that fear, testing the waters and all that, and finding out it's not so bad outside of blackness, is a lot of dudes, again, we're back to the politics, a lot of dudes' political realities will shift. And you're going to find you have way more in common with men broadly than you do with blackness. And that's the strike at the heart right there. We have more, as men, we have far more in common than we do just because we have black skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Trader NBD in the building. Go ahead, man. You got the floor. You got the mic. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, Bernard? My spoon, conservative, Uncle Stu.
What's going on?
Not much, man. Not much. It's crazy because for years, as what David described as living that other life, wink, wink, and another man's patriarchy. I've been doing this since for like the last 25 years. Never had, that quote unquote nigga moment. And for the longest, I was called an extremist. I mean, even still to this day, oh man, Trade MED, he goes, what, man, you go too hard. But now, like slowly but surely, people are like, hey, why you chill out so much? Why are you so toned down? I'm like, shoot, because everybody done saying what I'm saying. I don't have to say it anymore. The things I say are being echoed, throughout the manosphere. Divestors are saying what I'm saying. I'm like, have they been listening to me? Whereas this whole black stuff was a facade. And as David said it, it was sold by, feminists and the L. Gibbons community, i.e. Marxism, communism, whatever you want to call it. It was just a bill of lies sold upon black people to create this false sense of unity. And with that unity, it was it was just encapsulated in the lack of masculinity. And no society on this earth has ever succeeded, without men at the helm. And we see where it's going. And, for the longest, my thing was, hey, I'm over here on the Carpathia. Y'all can sit over there on the Titanic, wink, wink, Olympic all day long. But no, we're going. And slowly but surely, I see the life rafts pulling up. I'm already chilling, in first class on the Carpathia, eating lobster. Hey, man, I wish I would have got off that boat sooner. No, it's all good, bro. Come on over here. Let me give you a hug. Let me introduce you to Bob, Julio, Mohinder, Muhammad. We all chilling over here. Just come join us.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Uncle Stu. We got Uncle Stu in the building. Go ahead, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. You got the floor. You got the mic.
Absolutely. I totally agree with what Trey had to say in conservative. As somebody that actually came up in the so-called pro-black movement, I always separated myself, even to right now. Um, what I grew up in and the ideologies that I had was more from an international business perspective. This pro-black here, I don't recognize from his earlier conception. I do agree with Trey that we were sold um, a so-called Marxist socialist political agenda. As I got more into conservative philosophy, I began to separate myself then pro-black at one historical time may have been semi-successful, but as a conservative, I totally agree. It is not there now. Why is it not there now? First of all, you don't have a true definition of it. That's one. Two, you've totally separated black heterosexual men. I'll be real bold, and I'm going to talk about that. As you know, I'm a brand new grandfather, and I am right now having a struggle because I don't want to send my grandson into this public school system. I
Salute.
don't like
Same
what
here,
I'm,
bro.
yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing. Um, my son is Republican, conservative, and I just refuse. These ideologies um, that is coming ruthlessly is absolutely ridiculous. I let everybody know. My grandson is approximately 15 days old, and at his birth, when he was born, they was trying to tell my son that they didn't even have to put a sex on the birth certificate. What kind of madness is that? So no, I'm not sending him out there into this system. No way in the world. I'm going to let him get polluted that way. He's going to know he's a man. He's going to know how to function as a man. He's going to develop as a man.
Hey, Uncle Stu. I bet
Sir.
they didn't tell you. I bet they didn't tell you back in the day when you were first coming up that if you really truly want to defeat white supremacy, you're gonna have to let them turn your sons gay. Like I'm sure it's in the fine print, but they didn't say it out loud to you when you were first joining the movement.
Hey, you look, you gonna have me getting flashbacks.
Hey, Uncle Stu, man, I can relate on the grandson piece, but here's another thing on that. You know, my son-in-law, he's an army guy. He's 11 Bravo infantryman. He's a
Ugh,
white guy, but like, damn, he's like a white version of me. My daughter, people know my story. My daughter went
right,
through holy hell. Like I had to rescue her from that life. She was out there living that life. I had to
got
go to North Carolina, rescue her, bring her to Houston, put her under the law with me. And just by chance, she was like, "Hey, can I go up to El Paso and see my pen pal?" This army guy. I'm thinking army guy. Hell no, I'm infantry. Shit, I was one of those guys. I'm like, heck no. Why you want to get with a guy who your dad used to be like? And next thing you know, 6 months later, they like we getting married. And I go to meet him. All right, let me go meet this dude. All right, little redheaded white dude. And I sit down to talk with him. And I told him straight up, hey, you protect my daughter or I'll do it. No fussing, no fighting. Just call me. I will come get her. Are you,
right.
and she's got mental issues. Are you willing to go through with this? He said, hey, I'll protect your daughter with my life. Well, I tell you what, hey, I don't have to worry a bit. Like with all his guns and the way he thinks like me, man, my daughter and my grandson are in safe hands. And for the cats out there that say, I want my son, my grandkids to look like me, well, damn, everybody sees my grandson as like, man, he's the white version of you. He looks exactly like you, except he's white. It's,
Right.
Yo, let me.
Well,
it's
Let,
see,
I
wild.
want. I want to jump in real quick. Can I
Yeah.
respond to something real quick? Because there's an idea that I think we should discuss. Infantry skills in the chat. He's tried to at me. It's
Oh
not quite
shit.
my name, but I know. No, shout out to infantry skills. This is we having a conversation. But he says black men's political interest is far different than your typical alt right conservative. So stop trying to mingle us together. We already tried that in the manosphere and it failed. I would agree with your synopsis that yeah, the black and white manospheres aren't really together for a reason, and I argue that it's actually because of black women. The white manosphere doesn't have the same allegiance to quote white women that the black manosphere has to black women, and I think that's really the kicker there. And again, once men sort of separate their political realities from the women that they think they want to be with, things will change after that. And I see going forward that it's the only way forward is for men to identify as men first.
Let me add on to that. Let me do a little correction on that. I think is misunderstood when we speak about when we use political terms as liberal and conservative. So let me give a clear definition. When we talk about conservative, we're talking about what, and now being that we're dealing with black people, what black people really are naturally was supposed to be ever since up until the 1970s. We naturally believed in God, whether you was a Christian, Muslim, or black Jew. We naturally believed in God. We naturally believed in family. We naturally believed in the patriarchy. We naturally believed in, do it yourself. We naturally believed in small government. This is conservatism at its core. It doesn't matter what your color is. That is the conservative philosophy at its core. Liberals say we're going to protect everybody. Everybody going to have all this free stuff. Everybody going to be protected. No one group is going to be dismissed. That's liberalism. Conservatism says, look, everybody has the opportunity to be successful regardless of the environment and the neighborhood you live in. We want to be judged on our work, and we don't really care about color because at the end of the day, color don't matter. Why? Because everybody's trying to make a dollar. You don't hear, white business owners say, well, I'm a white business owner. I'm a Jewish business owner. I'm a Italian business owner. We're the only ones that say we're a black business owner and we only going to buy black. White people don't give a damn. They just want your money no matter what color you are. So when you think from that perspective, that's conservatism. Now, just like in any political philosophy, you can be conservative, but maybe you're middle of the road conservative. Maybe there is some areas where you believe government should help in certain areas. This country overall is what's known as center right, which means there's some areas where they might give some concessions to liberal ideology versus a stronger conservative ideology. When we are speaking as African-American men, we are asking some hardcore conservative questions. Now, when we're asking the hard conservative questions and they're challenging what is known as pro-blackness, the original philosophy of pro-blackness was, hey, being that we can integrate, we are going to be pro-black. We are going to numerically deal with black people in the diaspora. Now, back in the day, diaspora was all over the world. Now, y'all done limit this crap down to cities and states and cliques. So I don't recognize what this black pro-blackness is.
Hey, Uncle Stu.
Sir.
One thing about this new diaspora, like the latest development is amazing to me. Like there's always been a little bit of tension between like American blacks and different groups of foreign blacks, wherever you might have come from, because you're always an outsider coming to this country. But now it's open like conflict, man. Now it's, the FBA and the ADOS, they don't like the immigrant crowd, like flat out. There's internet dramas and all that. Like this is a new development. And so again, it changes the fundamental nature of what it means to be pro-black. Like how you hating the Africans and the Jamaicans and whatever, but you pro-black just the same. Like it's destroying the concept.
Well,
yeah,
David,
but it goes back to what someone said in the comment, because I was about to say the same thing. If you really go and look at the root, the freaking root started with a Jamaican. I mean, so I don't know, and I don't really get into those arguments,
I
really
will,
don't.
Stu, because I don't think you were around last year, Stu, when there was this, because my homie, my brethren, Blexit, another half Jamaican cat. When I was, people were like, man, why are you so extreme? Why are you so conservative? Blah, 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 blah. Where's your dad from? Mississippi. Oh, man. When was he born? 35. But what about your mom? I said, she's Jamaican. As soon as I said that, it was like, oh, okay, Trey's good. Never mind. Just blow him off. The only reason he's saying this stuff is because he's Jamaican. That's it. He's good now. We don't have to ban him. We just label him in the crazy West Indian category.
Yeah. I wasn't around then, and I do see it, now. And I don't know how to respond to that, because like I said, my pro-blackness was totally different. You know, hood conservative. No, we from New York. You try that crap in New York, you might as well just be homeless. I mean, it just don't work.
Yeah, that shit won't fly for you.
It don't
There's
work.
too many
You
different
know,
types of black people to be trying to play
exactly.
this like black policing game. Like, nah, I don't get you.
Yeah. So,
No.
but I think this is a great topic and conversation because you have to ask yourself the question. If you're going to be pro-black, you got to take deep dives into the social political realm. What is pro-blackness? That's not for us to answer up here. That's for those who are now 10 toes down pro-black. What is pro-blackness? Is pro-blackness patriarchal or is it matriarchal? Is pro-blackness going to be heterosexual or this new or is it going to have all of these opposing sexualities?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, you good.
Oh,
or
okay.
is it going to have all of these, ideologies? My whole thing is which side are you on? I'm not concerned about what complexion of woman you want. I'm concerned as what really deep down inside, speaking to a political person, what side are you on? I don't care if you want to be liberal or conservative, but stand on the whole ideology of what you are.
All right. Captain Cisco in the building says, I never understand this genetic debt that Edward Anderson always speak of. You must produce a fully black child in 2250. That's not even weird to say. In 2250, most races will be mixed. That is true. I actually saw
that is true.
I saw a card carrying white supremacist ran the numbers on it. He said if current trends keep up, I forgot exactly how long he put it before white people will like technically not even really be a thing. He ran the numbers on it. So
well, Bernard, you said card carrying white supremacist.
I say that jokingly.
No, I'm saying, are you talking about a pro-black female? Are you talking about L. Gibbons? Are you talking about one of us white supremacists of color? Which white supremacist are you talking about?
No, that's why.
Hey, hold on. I got a
Supremacy
new
about
one.
to get real diverse, bro. White supremacy gonna have so many different colors of people in it.
By card carrying,
Well, that's the thing, man.
hold on. By card carrying, I meant one of the homegrown originals. But I understand. Understand that there's other factions of it. But hold on, Uncle Stu, hold on. Hold on, real quick. But shout out to Captain Cisco and shout out to everybody who's supporting the stream. I want to circle back to before we go to Freedman's Journal. I do want to circle back to something that Hood Conservative said, because you said the black manosphere attachment to black women or something along that. Said the white manosphere is not attached, don't have any attachment or allegiance to white women, but the black manosphere has some attachment or allegiance to black women. I don't
Well, I said
know.
not the same.
You said what?
It's not the same level.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. As far as the black manosphere's attachment or allegiance to it, I really don't see that. I either see. I mean, there's people. I mean, we could debate whether or not SYSBM or Passport Bros to what degree do they claim the black manosphere. But even most of the people who would claim that they're a part of the black manosphere, they normally are, in favor. They don't carry the flag. They're not card carrying members of SYSBM or Passport Bros, but they're all open to and generally in support of it. So
I frame it like this, and you tell me if I'm wrong. We can always have the conversation, right? But I don't know if you ever heard white guys telling white guys to take it easy on white women because we got to fix the white race.
I know, but is that black manosphere or is that the detractors
that is a fundamental element of the black manosphere as far as detractors go? But that's still, that's black people still. So you talking about black men of this culture where you are just socially encouraged and essentially raised to take it easy on the women for the sake of the race. And so I'm saying there is almost nothing equivalent to that on the white side.
Right. They don't get that kind of pushback or detractors, but we do got to be clear about the people that do that. They are the detractors of it, not necessarily it. They're not necessarily a part of it. So I think in the black manosphere, I think people are pretty forward thinking, or I guess I hate the term progressive because of the connotations, but they're progressive in that sense that they don't put a ball and chain on black man's foot when it comes to that. But if the people who are out on the parameters, the periphery, or the I guess the outskirts of the black manosphere who come in and give pushback, yeah, that's their thing. That's the arguments that they try to counter with the black manosphere is saying with it.
Well, if you look at it, it's a weird argument because if you want to call it the white manosphere, the biggest content creators over there are melanated. It's
Explain.
Yeah, well, like Fresh and Fit,
Okay,
Donovan Sharp, Coach Greg Adams, they pull, mainly the biggest numbers over there. And their audience and the women they refer to is diverse. So it's this weird argument, it's just, I don't know. Edward said something the other day where he said that, Donovan Sharp, doesn't speak to the typical black man when it comes to his dating advice. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's it.
I don't know what you're saying.
Ultimately, let me try to clear it up a little bit. Ultimately, I think when you're talking about the black manosphere, regardless of the criticisms and the attitudes, and even withstanding the SYSBM guys and the passport guys, you are talking about a group of men who, by and large, first choice is a black woman. It's like the black manosphere is essentially populated by black men who kind of still want to be with black women, whereas like that is a big part of the underlying reality. And I'm just saying, like, when you're comparing like the black manosphere to the white manosphere, the white manosphere, so to speak, it's talking about women broadly, whereas like the black manosphere is almost always catering the conversation to what black people are about or into, and then which is black women.
Yeah, no, you are right that that the said individuals that was named, like Donovan Sharp, Fresh and Fit, Coach Greg Adams, they stay away. I mean, they'll touch on it, but that's not their content. They're not talking about black issues. So I guess in that sense, you could say the black manosphere is connected to black women because that's a lot of what we talk about. But far as who black men end up with, there isn't a push to exclusively end up with a black woman, or especially particularly American black woman. But if you're breaking down, if you're speaking to black men who are in black America, where there's mostly black people and black women, yeah, you're going to be speaking to black issues and black shit and the social dynamics between black men and black women, because men, black men, they do need to be informed on that. What they do with the information, they may go to trade the MBD route, or they may go my route where I'm with a black woman who don't have all that bullshit that's drenched into the community on her, just like I don't got it in me or on me, and she don't got it in her or on her. And so they may end up in that situation. So what they do with the information is one thing, but one thing that's not being told by the black manosphere is telling brothers what they should do or who they should be with in terms of race. There's some talk about, shout out to Game Changer, about black men not having a low standard all the way in the toilet. But even when you do that, you're going to be opening your options up to all kinds of women once you get your standard out the toilet. So, that's one aspect of that as well. Oh shit, I shouldn't even address the damn chat. Shouldn't even address this. He said, Bernard, you're part of the manosphere like me by default. What are you talking about? What do you mean by default? And he says he failed to mention your name, B. Are you saying I'm like part of the white manosphere or something? When he named the people that was the black men that are technically a part of the manosphere and not black manosphere. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Most of my topics are talking about black shit. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So, all right, explain yourself in the chat room. But we got to go to Freedman's Journal. Go ahead. You have the floor. You have the mic.
Hey, Bernard, thanks. Salute to you and the panel. And I just want to say, Hood, you have no idea how right you are about the politics, because we're coming to a big measure of culture via politics with Stacey Abrams' election, right? So O'Shea just did a video on Stacey Abrams saying she could win if just black men would put her over. Well, guess what?
Whoa.
Black
Who
men
just did
don't.
that? Wait, time out. Who just did that video?
Stacey Abrams. O'Shea did the video, and it was about Stacey Abrams.
Oh wow.
Was he saying black? He was saying Stacey Abrams could win if black men put her over.
Right. Because
wait. Time out. Was he saying that, or was he advocating for it?
No. He wasn't advocating. What I'm saying is,
I'm sitting
Stacey
there with
Abrams.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. I'm calling a hard timeout now. We need to.
let me explain the dynamic. The dynamic. So basically, black women are voting like 95% Democrat, but black men are only voting about 80% Democrat, right?
Okay.
And so the numbers of black men voting Democrat are going down, right?
Oh shit! He
Okay.
fell off a cliff.
Well, I can respond to that.
So that
hold on. Wait. Go ahead. Back up. You went out a little bit, Freeman's Journal. So just back up a little bit.
Oh, okay. So basically, the vote is just tipping in the black community, where more black men are voting Republican, and that is eventually going to tip the polls in GOP's favor in urban areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of ran the numbers myself, and if the vote is 90-10 historically, Democrat to Republican for black folks, that's fine. But if it goes to 8-10, states like Pennsylvania are toss-ups, man. Right? So this Stacey Abrams election is something that is going to tell us where the culture is already at, right? Because the election is just a measuring stick. So when Hood says we're going to be a political group combined with other men, that's already happening. Right, because all other men are trending GOP at the same time.
Right.
So
just to be sure, because I just want to make sure people aren't being misrepresented. He was just basically pointing out that black men are going in a different direction. That was what O'Shea was pointing out.
Yeah, but
right.
There is an article that's down there.
Freeman's. Hold on. We were talking about O'Shea's video that Freeman's Journal saw. Go with Freeman's Journal. Go ahead, answer.
Yeah. Basically, the video was about Stacey Abrams in an interview saying if black men voted for her, she would be able to win the governor's race, right?
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't think she's going to win. I think black men are going to come out against her.
Okay, got it. All right.
So, and that tells us a lot about where the culture is, right? Because politics is downstream of culture, and now we have a hard event to measure and say, nah, it's not going that way. Because I really think all that BIPOC stuff is going to go by the wayside. Because if black women can't deliver black men to win elections, where are they politically?
Yeah, that's what they've essentially been trying to do. Like saying, Democratic Party, we're going to vote for you, and we're going to drag our men by their ear to the voting poll, and like that's to the voting.
Get your booty to the poll.
Yeah, get your booty to the poll. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so that started in 2008, right? And now here we are in 2022. Black men are politically a non-entity, even culturally. Where are we at? Is there a single black man in a position of authority in primetime television? I mean, you had the unit
only gay black men. Only gay black men. And it's almost weird, like for the purpose of politics, you have to separate black men from gay black men. We are not the same group, black and all. We're just not the same group.
Exactly. So that's all I want to add, that Hood, not only are you right, but it's already on the ground. And so, yeah, it'll be real interesting the first Wednesday in November to see what happens in Georgia.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that should definitely be interesting. Uncle Stu, you was trying to jump in a few times. I'm gonna throw it back to you. I was trying to really pin down exactly where Freeman was going with that, but I'll throw it back to you. You got it if you wanted to add something to that.
No, I was letting everybody know that prior to O'Shea putting out that video, she actually did a news article saying she is looking for more black men to help her, and that if black men vote for her, she could win. So it already tells me that if you're that desperate that you actually got to say that, already lets me know you don't have the numbers. And you know what speaking to people that is in Georgia, she don't have the numbers. there's a lot of people that I speak to in Georgia where they're kind of tired of what's happening, from crime to social issues. So I agree with Freeman's Journal. I mean, Virginia flipped to red. They lost they was blue for a while and they got flipped to red. Georgia's the next state to flip to red. I think you're going to start seeing a lot of inner cities start flipping to red if they don't start
Absolutely.
Well,
appealing
Stu,
to men in general.
well, Stu, Uncle Stu, speaking of appealing to men in general, when we talk about Stacey Abrams, I've been trying to find this footage and it's very hard to find, but she's done several it's been like a production, a part of her campaign media, but basically several small meetings, I don't know, like small town hall meetings with black men, and she's done it in such a way that it's like she's making commercials here and there off of it, and that's the little bit of footage I do get to see. But I'm really curious as to if you get Stacey Abrams in a room with local black men from Georgia, what are they like? What are they saying to her as far as what do the men want? Because that's really the next question as far as this conversation is concerned. Like, if pro-blackness, so for the regular rank and file straight black man, right? If pro-blackness has sort of left us behind, like politics isn't over, so we still have to decide what it is we want. So I'm wondering what those men are asking of Stacey Abrams. I could almost be certain it's probably not as extreme as what I would say to Stacey Abrams as far as like what I want, but I imagine they're not asking for her. They're not going to ask her for things that she can deliver as a Democratic black woman governor.
I think my
Right.
argument. I think my argument to that. I think what, as Bernard would say, the ones that are 10 toes down on the ground. I really think it's now time for black men to stop. Now I want to be real sensitive when I say this. It's time now to come off of YouTube and go and actually have a written ideology for what you want. This is here where you demand.
Dr. Tiasan Johnson already, I think he has that written out already. So
Okay, I've been trying to reach out to him. I can't get to him, so I don't have a connection.
I've been low key trying to get him on the show either. I shared one of his videos in the community tab, and he dropped a comment in there. So I know he know who I am. But
okay,
but
yeah. Look, I'm a little bit smaller than you, so if you get him, let's throw my name at one.
I try to hook you up. But yeah, I do want to get him on the show. He leaving me on red right now. No,
okay, but
shout out to Dr. Tiasan Johnson. I do think that he has a few points like laid out of what exactly I don't want to just say what exactly black men want, because hey, some black I've asked Hood Conservative and Trader MBD may see some things on his list, and they might be like, fuck all that, I don't care about all that. but he do got definitely bullet points laid out of a black male political agenda. He's actually put it in writing. So I do want to go look at that. Hood, that may be a good show. If I can't get him on, me and you may do a show just looking at his bullet points of what black men want and break that down.
Yeah, that's a bet.
Do me a favor. If you get that between you and Hood Conservative, make sure I get that. And if you could find a video that does it, let me get that video as well, because I want to see what the political agenda is, since he already wrote it. So I would definitely say that we all need to look at it. And if he got 20 things on there, take your top 10 or 15 and present it to your local people, and know how to have that kind of an argument, because you may not agree with all 20, but take your top 5 and say, hey, I want to stand on this. So, if I get that information, please slide it to me so I can see exactly what he laid out, because I think that needs to be the first thing. So, Conservative, I can't really answer the politics of Georgia. I do know that came across my feed, and this was before O'Shea made the comment on it. I really stick more closer to what's going on in New York politics and my local politics.
Well, no, Stu, the whole reason, I mean, the whole line I was going down was really more about what black men want. Like what Bernard Riley was just talking about, like that's kind of the answer to it. I guess more conversation, but still,
Right.
the answer is to sort of figure out what it is black men want. Because think about this. All right, Stacey Abrams would not have like made a direct appeal to black men any other time before now, and because politics didn't require it. But now the politics does require her to specifically talk to black men. And even though I'm suspicious of like, the black male Democrat way of looking at it, whatever, it's still a start. It's a place to begin. And now that we have her attention, so to speak, and we're talking about the big picture, not just Stacey Abrams, but now that we have her attention, so to speak, it really does pose the question, and it puts the ball back in our court. Like, we actually have to have a conversation about what it is that black men require. And it can't be the same things that we've asked of black politics up until now, because obviously that didn't get us what we want. So you have to seriously consider what it is that black men require from politics.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt, no doubt. Well, we are almost up out of here because I do got to shut it down at about 2 o'clock today. Shout out to everybody who supported the stream. Like I said, I'm biting Angry Man swag, keeping up with the contributors down there. Yesterday, the goal was 25. 39 of them came through. Y'all supported hard and heavy yesterday. We don't look like we're gonna hit the goal today, but still, shout out to everybody who supported the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate everybody who's here. We don't got enough time to really go around the table with final words. So I guess I'm going to throw it to Hood Conservative. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Hood Conservative. You come over here and drop truth bombs on us every Saturday. Make sure that y'all are subscribed to this brother. Everything he dropping over here on this channel is just a whole nonstop barrage of it. So definitely you want to be subscribed to Hood Conservative. The link is down in the chat. So go ahead. I'll pass it to you. Go ahead and give us the final words, final thoughts on this topic before we get the hell up out of here.
All right, peace, fellas.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me again. It's been an interesting conversation, and I'm actually about to fire up a stream. We're just gonna have we're going to extend this conversation a little bit longer. I see you got somewhere to be. So I'm going to fire up a stream in the next 5 minutes, and we're going to pick this back up. So thanks for having me up here. And I think we ended on a great note, though, in the sense that what black men want from politics is kind of the conversation that needs to be had going forward. We at least got to get some ideas up in the atmosphere. So that's what I want to work on right now. So thanks for having me up, and I'll check back with you. We'll get another show going for next Saturday.
Yeah, we'll probably do that show that I described. We'll probably do that one. That'll be a good one.
Gotcha.
To look over that. That's a good one. But Jay Freeman Blackman in the building, dropping $10 on it. That's a definite major supporter. Be dropping heavy-handed super chats all the time. Do appreciate you coming on through at the buzzer, putting the super chat on it. Appreciate everybody who supported the stream. I'll probably be back. No, definitely be back on the air on Monday. So shout out to each and every one of y'all. I will see y'all then. And with that said, I am out of here. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Uncle Stu as well. Make sure y'all go to subscribe to Uncle Stu. I am going to drop that one last time before we get out of here. But with that said, I am out of here. Peace. We gone.